And we jump straight into the trio to kick off. Say hello, folks. Let's start as always. It's the Parv.
Why is everyone on the show? Why is everyone like? It's degrading. We're people. We're not objects. Well, maybe we're objects. Maybe that's what we are.
It's only you that's a noun.
No, everyone's a noun. You're just a collection of atoms I'm carving up. That's it. That's all you are.
That's usually
everyone.
And of course we have, some of you may recognise, we have a Trolden with us.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm making Hearthstone content on YouTube, so you probably know me if you play Hearthstone. I make funny and lucky moments, so I hope if you watch it you enjoy it. Nice to meet you.
Indeed, I'm going to have to be very careful with the invitations to play Hearthstone later, else I may well just get destroyed. But it could be fun. We have a few changes, as we actually said earlier on the quick voiceover moment. We don't have Blank tonight, so never mind. We have replaced him with a Trolden. So you've got to put on a Viking hat, raise your chalices, and all these other things for us. But we're going to go through a whole plethora of content, as always. We have the Hearthstone section with Pseudo and Marsh, and we'll all be commenting on it. We have the Heroes section with, shall I say, Mr. Parvis? Does that make you feel better, Parv?
Well, normally my doctor calls me Mr. Parvis. You don't look too much like my doctor.
That must be a good thing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I don't want to. Honestly, I don't really want to have you give me a prostate exam. I'm going to be honest, but yeah, why not? I can be Mr. Parvis is fine.
I'm so glad that why not did refer, in fact, to the naming convention and not to anything else that was in the previous sentence. But moving swiftly on from that, we're going to kick off with some Heroes content now. Because we're surrounded by experts, all I'm going to do is I'm going to play a quick little thing, and then I'm not going to go to the two-way path. We're going to have a three-way conversation. So you may well get the voice of the producer telling us we're taking too long because it's now a round table, but let's just go with it. So to start with, it's Heroes. And we're back after a brief interlude. So, Parv, you sent me some homework, and I'm afraid I didn't quite complete my assignment this week.
No, so you said I need to learn a hero, and I said, well then go learn Zeratul because he's like quite fun and quite an active hero, and it took me I spent like at least 5 seconds thinking of that, and you've gone and thrown that away. You haven't done it. Normally, when I didn't do homework at school, I got like kicked out the classroom. They said, "Come back when you've done it," so I had to leave. So, I suppose we have to tell you to leave now, I guess, and then we take over. Is that how it works? I don't know. Maybe.
Hopefully not. I've got buttons here to push and everything. But Trolden, obviously I got hit, as some of you may have known, by one of the bugs that's floating around in Alpha, where you turn around and say, hey, I'd like to buy this character. So you do so, and you don't quite get it. But you've run into this as well, Trolden. So perhaps you could fill people in on how this works.
The best part is when you try to buy Illidan and you're so excited and you just try to play it and you get Surgeon Hammer. You're like, what the hell? I cannot play this hero, and this is one of the bugs that's currently in alpha. If you buy hero, you might not get it, and you will only get it after the reset. Like it happens on Tuesday, I think. So if you bought a hero and you try to play it and you get some random guy, that's the problem. You'll have to wait for 1 week probably to get it back. It's annoying, but
there's an easy fix that you just buy the hero you don't want, right? That's what you do.
No.
And then,
No.
then you get
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's going to be a video going up on YouTube soon because I was just having hysterics. First of all, I thought, right, concentrate, Zeratul, right, let's go. I'm up for this. I've got Sergeant Hammer. Oh, I must have misclicked. Okay, fine, reset. Here we go. Kerrigan. No, right, let's try this again. Lily. So that's going to make its way to a video segment coming to a YouTube near you soon. I was amused. until I then restarted my client, logged back in, and realised that I didn't actually have the character that I just spent all my hard-earned goldsies on. And then thought, okay, I'll go buy it again. I can't not do my homework.
So what were you playing then? Instead,
I was actually played a few different. I just played a few different random things, and then I played Let's Spend a Couple of Days Ill in Bed. That was unfortunately my game last week. So I'm sorry, teacher Parv. The dog ate my homework.
There's a tried and tested excuse, I suppose. I mean, dogs dog ate my account, whatever you want to call it. Dog ate my hero. I don't know. Okay, fair enough.
That means I'm going to have to sit back and let you two guys who know how to melee in heroes talk about that character.
I've only tried Zeratul a few times, but I pretty much know a few fun things about him. For example, you can actually try and backdoor push the turrets if you get the Singularity Spike talents.
So what, you
Have
take
you
the
tried it
AoE
out?
on him? I've not tried it, but I assume you take the AoE and then the double hit you would take as well then.
Yeah,
You can just take a
like
wave.
you probably know that the turrets do not detect Zeratul, so you can just blink to the fort and start attacking it with a Singularity Spike, and by increasing its damage from the talents, you can actually backdoor like that. And it's pretty fun and works in solo queue, which can be quite fun, yeah.
I think I've just walked into the Advanced Zeratul 101 class here at school, but I think I probably need to start with the Zeratul for Beginners class. So perhaps we could just talk a little bit for those that aren't particularly familiar with heroes and how it all works, on the class, what its role is, and what does it do. I'm assuming it doesn't just wave a white flag and go, I'm dead, every time it goes on the
I'll just
battlefield.
clarify. I'll clarify quickly. So backdooring, for the people who don't know, it's essentially just circumventing the creep wave, going behind and either attacking towers or killing creep waves in between towers to essentially push the wave. In most MOBAs, they have a mechanism called an anti-backdoor mechanism, which will mean that a creep wave has to reach a certain point before you can actually do damage to a tower, which currently I don't think is in Heroes of the Storm.
It's not in Heroes of the Storm, yeah, and it's not in League of Legends, by the way.
No.
So you can just backdoor, as far as I know.
I don't think it is in League. No, it isn't. In Dota 2, all the Tier 1 towers don't have backdoor protection. Everything else after that does. As far as Zeratul goes, he's essentially like I like to build him as glass cannon as possible, but really he's an assassin. He's an assassin. That's what he is. He goes around invisible. He has high burst damage. He pounces on people. He kills them. His place in a team fight is usually at the back, trying to kill a squishy who's high damage output. You don't really want to go toe to toe with a lot of Illidan's a great example here. You probably don't want to go toe to toe with. He's got too much lockdown and too much tankability. But in general, that's how the obvious way to play him. To just burst down someone like a Kerrigan maybe, or anyone kind of squishy. Go ahead.
So maybe I should try and explain his abilities for the ones who don't know. So he's got permanent cloak. It's he automatically cloaks every 3 seconds, I think, like Nova. And in Heroes of the Storm, you can't detect invisible units by seeing like in StarCraft 2, when you see invisible units, they're like
distorts the lights.
Yeah, distortion. You get a distortion. So if you use skill shot abilities, you can actually detect him. His Q ability is Cleave. He deals some amount of damage around him. His W is Singularity Spike. It deals damage after it's a skill shot, so you have to aim it, and it deals some damage after 1 second and slows the enemy. You can actually get the talent, so you can use Singularity Spike and still remain invisible. It's really good talent. Then you get the E ability is Blink, so you can just blink around. If you played this StarCraft 2 campaign, you might be familiar with it. And he's got 2 ultimates. One of them is Shadow Assault, which gives him life steal, attack speed, and gives him charge to enemies. So you basically just press the press the button and you charge to the target. And the second one is a really interesting one. It's the Void Prison, which is, I think, one of the most interesting abilities in the game yet. It traps all of the targets for 5 seconds, and everything that is trapped is immune, and immune and cannot use skills, abilities, anything. So you can basically lock down your enemies or save your teammates from devastating ultimates.
Is this more of a, then I want to buy time? I want to have a brief window where the damage doesn't hit, let this stuff roll over the top of us, or I've arrived at the team fight first and they're 3 seconds behind me?
I've played the tournament like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember, and I've seen people use Void Prison, this trap ability, as initiation. So, for example, the team won't expect Zeratul to come from behind and use Void Prison to trap 4 of the teammates in one place. And when the 5 seconds are passed, for example, Uther can use his global ultimate to stun everyone. And you can start some really good wombo combo and kill all of the enemies. Or, for example, if someone's getting damaged by triple tap, it's an ability of the hero called Nova. It's really strong and kills most of the squishes. What? Excuse
It's
me?
a pain. I'm usually on the receiving end of triple tap.
Yeah, you can actually use the Zeratul's ultimate to on one of your teammates and save him from triple tap, which is interesting.
It is like an ability that has a lot of applications. Like it's not as straightforward as like a stun or a normal lockdown. It has both defensive and offensive capabilities. I mean, also could be used to stop certain objectives, to interrupt certain key spells as well for the enemy team as well. So, like for instance, you could, if you were near Nova when she starts a triple tap, you could interrupt it.
Okay.
And save a teammate that way as well. But I think it's not something I've used a lot because I don't play in groups currently. So I think it requires a lot of, to get that initiation, you need to have teammates ready to pounce on that 5 seconds. I mean, yeah, you can get a lot of AoE down and like really do some damage otherwise. I've almost always taken the pounce ability, let's say the rush, whatever it's called.
The Shadow Assault.
Shadow Assault. That does some serious damage. It's a great gap closer.
Now, one thing here, we just mentioned team for a moment, and obviously, all 3 of us are in, but also some other people from MMOBuff are now in the Tech Alpha as well. So in the near future, I think we could expect to see a 5-man running around Parv. So if we feel like all donning headsets, and Trolden, if you'd like to come and join us,
just might, why not?
Try and do something a little more organised.
Cast as well, who are in as well. They might want to join us as well.
This could be good. Now, this is where I'm so pleased that in this game you can actually carry the weaker, newer MOBA player, i.e. me. So we'll see what happens there. Now, he's an assassin player, so his primary function is either you're by yourself, ganked you, or team fight, and he's put a load of hurt on somebody. But he seems to have a bit of utility as well. Is he someone that, in this game, with the ability to move between lanes so much more fluently, he'll be, using that self, trying to catch a player moving, say, by themselves? Is that a major feature of him, or is that just a personal playstyle?
Well, with any ganking hero, like it's always down to playstyle. Like you can play very safe or very, very aggressively with him and still be useful. Catching players moving between lanes is usually to do with it's either after ganks happened or it's because an objective has changed on the map. That's usually when you can predict when players are going to move. Obviously, map awareness is important, especially if you're going to play a ganking role, because you can't just sit in the lane and expect to sort of be useful. You are designed to go and kill other players. That is your role. However, I have tried building him as a split pusher as well. So, for those of you who don't know what a split pusher is a hero that sort of like pushes out a lane, makes enemy players waste time running across the map in order to defend it, and then just moves away. So all their investment is kind of nothing, and then the other side pushes, and you go back and forth. You just kind of like prey on the fact that other players are less maneuverable. One of his first talents you can get is a 33% upgrade on his cleave. If you take that, you can actually span the entire creep wave by standing in the middle when you use your Q, which is an AoE or it spins around and cleaves. 2 of those will kill a creep wave, along with creep damage. So if you can find empty lanes or lanes where players that keep moving out, you can just keep running in and using your visibility and using it and pushing lanes and then moving back to other lanes and ganking while the lane is pushed. Other players will have to react to that lane being pushed, but you can also get the players as they're sort of traveling around to deal with it. I don't know if Trolden had something to say on that as well. Sorry.
Jump in, Trolden.
I think that Zeratul is currently one of the best ganking heroes in the game because of his blink ability, which is really easy to use. It's I don't know, one of the best ones in the game for ganking too, and his Shadow Assault ultimate helps a lot too. And if you actually get the Shadow Spike talent, which no longer decloaks when using Singularity Spike, you can catch your enemies off guard and pretty much kill everyone. I love Zeratul. He's an amazing hero. Too bad my latency is really bad in this game and I cannot play him well.
You said you played him more than once, though. You said.
Yeah, I've played him a few times. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really like him too. It's a lot of fun and just when you get to a point in a game where you can just kill anyone pretty much, and you just keep going and getting people. You can pick on people as well and keep going for one person. They can't talk to you. It's just a bit of trolling.
Yeah, this is.
Let's just throw a wider question out here, and it's a little bit about the state of the game. And is it too early? You can't really call it meta yet, I suppose. I noticed that there's a number of players here that probably are pretty new to MOBAs. There's a split of who's in the tech alpha, as well as the people that know them intimately. But I'm not always seeing people react to things like a lane get pushed with creeps. So a tactic like split pushing, obviously it relies on, it's a little bit like playing poker. If you use an advanced poker tactic on someone that doesn't play the game, they're not going to buy your bluff or react in the way you expect them to. Now, the same thing seems to be true here, because I've seen plenty of games where people could kill all the creeps and people would just stay where they were. They wouldn't actually move. Is this something that will become more and more the norm later? Or is this really talking about organised team games?
I think even in pubs, I mean, okay, if you push a lane and then the enemy team doesn't react to it, first of all, they're losing a third of their XP by not being present in that lane at all. So they better be doing something damn well worthwhile in the other lanes in order to compensate for that. But also
like getting mercs.
Well, yeah. As well, the other thing as well is that if they don't react to your split push, you just keep pushing. You take their towers. That's what you do. You make them react. The only reason I assume you back off is because players are going to respond to it. If they don't respond to it, they make even bigger concessions in that you take towers. So players will learn very quickly to respond to these things because they will see pushes happen and they'll get destroyed by them.
Okay.
By the way, I think I'm level 27 now, but I still haven't noticed to actually get experience for destroying the turrets or just forts, because you get a lot of experience for fort, but I'm not sure about the turrets.
It's 2,000 for a fort, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't think you get them for. I could be corrected here. I may have Googled this. I don't think I've ever seen XP for the actual towers.
We'll see if the channel can interject or throw that out there for us. So I'm going to throw out a bit more of a sort of topical question, and we touched on it briefly today, but it's been flaring up again, and I had the pleasure, displeasure, take your pick, and I won't call out the name of the person involved, of being in a game the other day where someone decided that, possibly correctly, everyone on the team was so bad he wasn't prepared to contribute his XP to our inevitable loss. Now, this was about 40 seconds into the game, I should add, at which point they proceeded to go to the well, spend the rest of the game standing there insulting us on and off, saying that basically we were not worthy for the benefit of his assistance. So we played the whole game as a 4-player game, which inevitably, yes, we did lose. AFK players. Different games take different approaches. Blizzard have said in a blue post they're looking at trying to fix it at the moment. But what should the fix be? How should AFK players be dealt with?
I think one of the biggest problems with these kind of games is that it's free to play, and it's really hard to just ban a player because he's probably just gonna come back and be bad again. So as far as I know, in one of the interviews, Dustin Browder said that the AFK players and toxic players in general are gonna be matched with each other. It's something like low priority queue in Dota 2. So this is probably their take on the AFK players and this whole problem, because I think this is one of the biggest problems in MOBA genre, and they should take care of it if they want the game to stay healthy and really nice.
It's certainly needed. Parv?
Well, yeah, I agree. So the Blue Post said that. I do think of all the MOBAs I've ever played, Valve seem to have the best system. When you create a Dota2 account and your Steam account, there are several barriers to entry before you'll play with regular players. So those will be, you will play placement matches. So already, if you're the kind of player that goes AFK and rages 40 seconds into a game, you're going to be placed pretty low. Let's say you even do, get through those placement matches, and then you decide to become a bit of a, like whatever, you give up fast, whatever kind of person you are, I don't know. You will get put in a low priority pool, and they used to have a system where you would spend a certain amount of time before you could get back into the main priority pool. But what they found was, in the free-to-play game, is that players just make new accounts and play on those accounts until the timer runs out. So now what they have is you have to play 6-7 games before you in low priority before you go back. I mean, even Titanfall did this as well with they said, you can cheat, but you go into the cheaters bracket then. So, better hope your cheats are great.
I really like that idea.
The other way of dealing with it is to allow a concede option. That's the other way to do it. This has some problems though. By allowing a concede function in the game, Heroes of New Earth did this, and League of Legends does it still as well. So after, I think it's 20 minutes in League, it's 15 minutes. On Heroes, and it's 15 minutes on Heroes of New Earth. If there's a majority vote, you can vote. Your team can vote to concede the game. This is an inherent problem in MOBAs. MOBAs, a lot of it is about the interaction between heroes and other heroes, and when they surpass each other in power due to leveling or item builds or whatever. Whatever the differentiating factor is. In this case, it is XP. But players may not necessarily have the judgment to understand the build and the effectiveness of a certain hero when it gets to late game, and in which case may prematurely decide that they want to leave. What this does is it means that the game becomes very much zero-sum. If a game is something that can be valued, if you want people to be involved in actually winning the game no matter what, if you allow a concede function, it's too easy for people to give up. The thing is, if you're winning a game, someone else is probably having a shit time in a MOBA, and vice versa. If you're having a shit time, someone else is probably having a great time on the other team. So if you're ever going to have a great time, the enemy team can't be allowed to concede. They have to have a reason to keep going. So they shouldn't be allowed to AFK.
What about the games where it's just neck and neck, end to end? I've had a couple of those here.
Well, that's fine. Players will stay in because they believe they can win. But you need to give people a reason to believe they can win. If players don't have the concede option, they'll be tempted to just stay in the well. So you have to have things like they have to cast a spell every 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever it is. They have to get XP every 3 minutes, something like that. Now, it's a bit hard to do in Heroes of the Storm because XP is global, so it'd have to be that they collect XP, I assume.
Yeah.
Actually, XP is global, but you still get like personal experience. You can see it when you tap. So.
Does it count for anything though?
Yeah, just for your own info. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am responsible for this particular nugget of XP.
Yeah. So when you die, it just says like you've got 29% of your team's XP. Amazing. Amazing.
So it should be. It should be like, yeah, you have to gather a certain amount of XP in a certain period of time to make sure you're actually doing something. So it is pretty much I think Valve have a very good system that Blizzard will likely mimic, honestly. Lots of games seem to be adopting the idea of putting the toxic players with the toxic players.
I'm sure that will make them more toxic, but as long as I'm nowhere near them, I really don't mind.
this is the thing, though. In MOBAs, there are like communities of people that never see the like. There are people. There's someone I know who plays Dota 2 who has something like over 1,400 games to play in low priority because he's just gone like, I don't care anymore. Like fuck it, I'm here forever. Like I'm just gonna be this toxic individual. He has nothing left to lose. But I love that he's in that because that means that anyone else going into that bracket is gonna have to play with that guy. So they're not gonna want to be there anymore. It's so
You're so evil.
That's exactly what we want.
Let's throw another concept in, and it's from another MOBA. You'll have to tell me which one. This is from reading the forums. One of the MOBAs has the tribunal system. And of course, it's the player council that says, yes, this player is toxic. No, this player is okay. Yes, it's an infraction. No, it's reasonable. What value is there in letting players become part of the control process for this stuff? Or does it become a kangaroo court?
Yeah, the problem is that the player actually controlling all of this stuff might be toxic himself. And he can just put the blame on everyone and decide that everyone should be banned. And I don't think it's right. I think
has its
Dota 2
challenges.
system is better. Yeah. Like, if the player gets reported a few times and he might be put in the low priority queue, I think it's the right thing to do. Yeah.
Okay, so first, I mean, like, the only game the MOBA I know of that did this was Heroes of New Earth. So Heroes of New Earth had a voting system. You could actually kick players from your own team, and it was a vote. And, like, we saw games. I played Heroes of New Earth for 2 years, and I saw games where, like, we get in, and then someone will get kicked. And then, of the 4 players left, 3 of them would turn on another player, and then they kick him. And then of the 3 left, 2 of them would turn on another player, and they kick him, and then they just end up with, and then someone would just leave, and there'd be 1v5. And it just became ridiculous. Also, as well, in a game like Heroes, because the hero scaling is not percentile scaling, you scale on just XP across a global scale. Losing a player is pretty much the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So having some sort of tribunal system where you kick a player out is just the end of the game anyway. You may as well have a concede function and just like rate the players at the end, because how can you win if you're down like a whole ultimate in a 5-man team fight? Carries don't carry to the degree of, say, Dota 2 or Heroes of New Earth, in which that they could, still win the game.
Well, I'm sure
everyone
you've
is relevant
got
throughout.
2 Troldens and 2 Parvs, you're fine. But outside of that, yeah, I'm sure you're probably going to struggle.
But there is a... Sorry.
Go. No, you go.
There is a thing, and Heroes of the Storm, the matches are 20 minutes, 30 minutes maximum, so you don't put as much effort into a single match as you do in Dota 2 or League of Legends. Mm-hmm. So the concede option, what's it gonna be, 10 minutes? I don't think it's reasonable, because you can just concede every 10 minutes and get daily quests done and the hero quests, and I think that might go wrong. Don't forget that Blizzard are actually trying a lot to reduce the snowballing. Snowballing, for those who don't know, is when a team wins a team fight, for example, and because of the experience they got in that team fight, they just keep on winning the whole game. So Blizzard wants to reduce the snowballing in the game, and the comebacks are real, and yeah, so I don't think the game really needs concede option right now.
What do you actually think of them reducing snowballing? Well, how do you think that? Do you think that's a positive thing or a negative thing?
I think it's a positive thing in regard that you can actually come back from a mistake, but it's a bad thing that it's not rewarding you for a good place as much as it could have rewarded you.
I think that sort of thing actually worries me about the game, because if you're not rewarding good players for playing well, that is kind of anti-competitive. Like, actions should have weight in a MOBA, I think. Without that, you have less pressure to improve. You have, like, if you do something bad and it loses you the game, you remember that, you improve. Whereas it's like kind of like mistakes don't mean as much, big plays don't mean as much. It kind of makes you a bit less relevant as a hero in a way.
I may have to contend that one a bit, just from my perspective. At the end of the day, you want to win. You don't want to lose. And that means your team has to win. Your team has to cross that line. I still post a game, probably because I'm very much learning, will go and I'll replay every death every moment where I actually won a duel with a player. Everything where I thought, hey, that was okay. I've even been known to actually start going and actually just watching the replays of my own games in between games, just to watch what I actually have been doing versus what I think I'm doing in my head, which is usually completely different when I actually sit and watch the replay. So surely the motivation for winning is still winning. Does it matter if it's winning individually because I've got more stats versus the team one?
I think it depends. If you play in solo queue, I think you'll want to be the person that makes a difference. If you're playing as a team, then it's probably a lot more. It's probably equally as rewarding. But if you're playing with people you don't know and they don't help you as well, then you're pretty much powerless to do anything because you can't make a difference on your own by definition of the game mechanics. So it lends itself more to a social game than it does to a game of sort of individual skill, like overcoming, say, like the odds. That's almost like it does say a lot about what Blizzard want this game to be, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but it does mean that a certain player is going to be turned away from this. That person would probably go to Dota 2 instead for that, I think.
Okay, so we are X weeks into the technical alpha. Obviously, no one knows the exact dates of when things are going to change. There's many, many people knocking on the door trying to say, hey, let me play this game. And any game with the Blizzard IP and their weight behind it is going to do interesting things. What do we think of the game for where it is today? Trolden, what's your overall take on the game?
I really enjoyed it. It's a pretty decent game. Of course, it needs some changes, but I think it's an amazing game. It's gonna have huge future, especially in the esports. I'm the one who called it because the tournament that I've had like a week ago was amazing. I've never had such a feeling because the game is really good. Everyone should try it out as soon as the beta comes out.
Okay. Parv, your view? We've seen the evolution a little bit now. We haven't seen any major patches, a few balance changes and bits in the past few weeks.
I think you can expect a lot of success for this game. I think it's going to be the success pattern will be a lot like Riot and League of Legends. I think it will actually take a lot of the League of Legends fan base as well, if anything. I think other MOBAs are probably going to be pretty unaffected. Okay. But League is that is definitely their market with this, and the pro scene as well. Definitely a League style pro scene. Not saying that's bad or anything as a Dota 2 player, but at the same time, like that's where I think it's going to be drawing its player base from.
Okay, so we're going to have the quick conversation in a minute and try and set some new homework and not let the dog eat my gold or character or account or whatever it's going to do next week. Before we do, let's tell people what's actually going to be coming up. We're about to roll tape on the Hearthstone section with Pseudo and Dr. Marshmellows. We do have a doctor here, Parv, but maybe the doctor can see you. After that, we'll be... Mr. Parv. After that, we'll be taking a brief 1-minute break, and when we come back... Again, we'll have the trio, and we will be exploring Warlords of Draenor. So before we roll tape and we step into Hearthstone, Mr. Parv, what's my homework this week, please?
I've got to make up some homework again. You can play any hero you want, but you have to work out a way of split pushing. Or you can backdoor. You've got to do something more than just sit in a lane. That's gonna. You can play any hero you want. You can do whatever you want, but you need to either circumvent the creep wave somehow, or do something where you push and then push to the side and like just sort of like make the other team run around a lot. See if you can come up with something.
Okay, I'll be asking you for help later, Trolden.
So and any hero you want as well. There's no dog ate my hero sort of thing. You can't do that anymore.
We shall see what happens. Okay, guys, it's time to roll tape. Let's see what Pseudo and Marshmellow have for us this week.
Greetings, everybody. It is Pseudo, and welcome to the Blizzard Forecast Top Draw special. Is it Top Draw Blizzard Forecast or Blizzard Forecast Top Draw? I'm getting myself all confused.
Way more important, we go first.
We actually go second on the show.
No. Go first.
Okay, well, there you go. Apparently, according to Dr. Marshmellows, we are special. But yes, welcome to Top Draw. our Blizzard Forecast special, where we talk all things Hearthstone related. I am Pseudo. It is lovely to see you, and I am joined by the illustrious, the immortal, the omnipotent Dr. Marshmellows.
Greetings, mortals.
So yes, let us dig immediately into Hearthstone. We've had some things. There's been some stuff.
There has indeed been stuff. And quality time frames and stuff like that. While we're all here, we love Blizzard. We just wish Blizzard would work on either BST or AST, not PST. So always feel as though we're the ones like a week behind everyone else, when really it's just like a day. The day makes all the difference.
It does. Which is awesome. Which is why people get really confused when flying to Australia and back. Not really, but you know. But yes, in this particular case, what happened was the show went out and then they dropped another card on us. You said, "Where are the other cards?" And apparently they heard you. They brought to you Avenge.
Indeed. See, it was me saying, bring us the other cards, that made them bring out the extra cards. It had nothing to do with any scheduling or any week-based card releases or anything like that. I commanded them. I'm telepathic. They went, must do.
You mean telepathic, not telepathetic.
Yeah, whatever.
As linguist on MMOBuff, it is brilliant to see this. But yes, we've got Avenge. Avenge is a secret. Shh.
Yes, a secret. Woohoo. I love secrets.
Marsh has a thing with secrets. Marsh is slightly anti-secret.
I am indeed anti-secret. I don't like secrets. I like them even less now that they can't be activated on your own turn. Before, this card would have been amazing. Now, it's very meh. But Pseudo, why don't you tell the viewers at home what Avenge does? I'm assuming it's on our screen somewhere here. This way.
Yes, it's this way for me, and it's whatever way you just pointed to for you. And
Excellent.
I forgot to mute my phone. Sorry, guys. But anyway, yes, Avenge. It is a secret that when one of your minions dies, you give a friendly minion +3/+2. Now, here's my thinking on this.
This should be interesting.
Yeah, this should be interesting. Will I get stars or will I not get stars? This can work, but like you said, since you can't do it on your own turn, it's not like you can, say, use it to attack a minion, die, and buff another minion up, so that you can then attack with that minion. So you can't put planning into that. You kind of have to wait for someone to attack you and kill one of your minions and hope that your minions are alive in which to get this buff, or you have enough minions in which to get it. I don't know. It seems almost... I understand the concept behind why Blizzard is doing secrets. At least in my opinion, I am. One of the things that Blizzard has attempted to do is add an element of chaos and random to a game.
Yeah, but there's a very limited amount of secrets, and when you know the secrets, you can sort of go through the checklist. Well, it's not this, it's not this, it's not that. It must be that one. So it's random in a very non-random way.
Well, it does make you play differently.
Not so much.
So you mean to tell me that if someone throws a secret down, it makes a difference whether they are a mage or a hunter or a paladin, and they throw a secret down, you don't change your playstyle at all. You don't make a different choice.
No, you make different choices, but at the end of the day, the secret's still there. The secret's going to be popped at some point. It's actually probably giving more control to your opponent now by placing a secret, because your opponent chooses when that secret goes off now.
Interesting.
The secret can no longer be activated during your own turn, which means you cannot set up the circumstances in which the secret gets activated. Which means the entirety of control, once you play that secret, is succeeded to your opponent. Your opponent chooses when that secret goes off, and that is better for them.
And that is your soapbox for why you don't like secrets, is because you succeed control and you don't want to ever give control to your opponent in a card game.
Oh no, that's not even close to my soapbox on secrets, but we don't have time for my soapbox on secrets this episode. we will have a special episode at some point in which I get up on my soapbox, put on my grandiose robes, my little pope hat, and spurt nonsense about why I hate secrets. But in the interest of conserving time, we'll go into my thoughts on Avenge. You play it, it's 1 mana. It's brilliant if it works, well for you, basically. Like any secret. It's very cost-effective because you're succeeding so much control. 1 mana for a 3/2 buff. With saying that, though, your opponent chooses when that buff goes off. Well, your opponent could simply choose to knock all your creatures down to 2 health and then consecrate. Oh no, all your minions died, and now the secret activates. Oh look, you have no creatures to put it on. Unfortunate.
Yeah, board clears really negate the entire purpose behind this.
Exactly, and it's not just board clear either. It's like, okay, I'm going to kill your big dude, so I'm going to kill your Yeti, so now your Argent Squire gets +3, +2. Oh look, I'm going to kill your Argent Squire with my Ooze, or something like that. So it all depends on what gets the buff, and once the metagame sort of adjusts to, oh look, it could be an Avenge, your opponent's just going to go, well, I'm just going to kill their biggest creature first, then.
Well, so secrets themselves, they go off on an event. That's basically the way a secret works. And in this particular case, what we're dealing with is there's only so many events that occur on your turn. You draw a card, that's an event. You can play a minion, that's an event. You can attack with your hero, that's an event. You can kill something, that's an event. Or you can have something of yours killed, that's an event. There's not much more you can really do.
You play a spell.
Well,
Just throwing it out there.
Well, a spell.
Stuff.
Well, spell.
Lots of events, though.
No, there's only so many events. You're either attacking something, whether you're using a spell or not. I mean, how many different things can you set up trigger-wise for secrets to give even more of a choice?
Yeah, there is a finite amount of events. But that being said, they could bring out, I don't know, combo secrets to go back on a different tangent. But, think of, I don't really care what type of secrets they put in. Chances of me playing a lot of them not very high. But, they could put in, like the thingamabobbo where you get all five of the things in play and you instantly win the game. There's a card set like that. For life, you can't remember what it's called right now. And you just instantly win the game if you have all 5. They could do something like that. Soulforge has something like that as well. It's like, have all 5 of these, instantly win the game.
Well, there's
mega something.
There's
you can do that with secrets as well.
No, you can't, because not every class has secrets.
But every class could have that secret. Could be a neutral secret. Could be a secret I'd play. Maybe. Probably not. But there'd be a good chance eventually I'd play something like that. And on trigger, the secret gets destroyed. Anyway, I think we've gone off topic a little.
We have just a tiny bit. It's secrets. We have feelings about them.
We have many feelings, but math. Anyway, the big problem I see with this secret is it does 2 really bad things. It actually does 3 really bad things. So I think it will get played for a little bit, but I don't think we'll see a lot of play after the metagame adjusts to new set. Number 1, it's a secret. You don't control when it goes off, your opponent does. Number 2, it's a buff. You're investing a card. So you've got to remember, even though it's cheap, even though it's a buff, it's still a card in your deck as well. So not only are you allowing your opponent to have control, but you're also investing a card for a buff. Now, a buff in itself is also another bad thing. well, not bad in the sense that it's always bad, but bad in the sense that if you put too many buffs on the one creature and they just go, well, that creature's dead now, with one card, you've invested 2 cards into that creature that's now dead. So you're
Polymorph
losing card
or
advantage as well. Yeah.
X.
So there's a lot of bad things about this card. Like, don't get me wrong, it will see play, but I don't think it will stay in the metagame for a long time. It'll probably see play because the buff is so great. I think maybe aggro pally is where I'd go. But I think that's about the only time it'd have to be pretty super aggro pally.
Well, we do know you like your aggro pally decks because
Yes.
you have built an aggro pally deck, and what did you call it?
Actual sacrifice.
Yes, the Chua sacrifice, right. Go figure. But yes, so that happens to be our discussion about the latest, greatest release from them, Avenge. I can't wait to see what comes out today, aka tomorrow for us, because we do have to pre-record this show due to time and math. Because math.
Damn math.
Yes, and let's move into the next section.
I'm doing this? Okay. Season 2 is starting. Which means Season 1 ended. Math. Anyway, so Season 1 ended, and
Yes.
Congratulations to those of you that picked up the Pandaren card back. It's red and goldy and slightly flamboyant. It's amazing. But we're slightly more excited about the Season 2 card backs. The
Black Temple
ones. They look really good.
Oh,
I hope they come animated. I really do. Because, flowy green, shiny stuff always.
I doubt it's going to be animated. I doubt it.
Want to see it. Get on it, Blizzard. Be amazing.
And now watch them turn out to be. Watch it turn out to be animated, and again, Marsh will have mind controlled. That'll be funny.
Yeah.
No, yes.
Pseudo's super excited because we're going to endeavour to get her this card back at some point.
Yes. We're working on it. I've already started.
Yes. We will hear about your adventures later. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, as I said, congratulations to all that, but further congratulations are in order for the top 16 players in the Americas and the EU who have all made it to the qualifying tournament for the Hearthstone
Yes.
World Championships at BlizzCon later in the year.
Woohoo.
And on that note, BlizzCon tickets did start going on sale on yesterday for us, which makes it, I don't know, it makes it math. I think it was Monday in the US and Tuesday in the EU. But yeah, BlizzCon tickets are on sale, and if you didn't already know it by now, chances are you're not getting one. I'm sorry.
Sold out.
Yeah.
Virtual tickets. Bring the virtual tickets.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Last week, we had some people make a comment about checking out decks that were pre-made, because we were talking about cards that you can use inside of a basic deck where it's common cards that you can get your hands on, etc. There's a reason we're not handing out decks to people and saying, go do this. There are people like Trump who do an amazing job of putting decks together saying, check this out. This is something you can do. But what we want to do is give you the tools to go, okay, well, these are the cards you guys mentioned and why you mentioned it. Now, what can I do with it? We want to give you the opportunity to learn.
Yes.
Marsha's like, sure, she's soapboxed.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
not a thing.
I'm perfectly okay with this. But yes, exploration. There's no point picking up a deck that you don't understand how it wins. It's great to get up to level 20. Let's go with 20. Great to get up to level 20, but you're never going to be able to get past it till you do those steps that you should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
That's all.
I completely agree. But moving on, we've got questions.
Yeah.
We've got
We have
questions. We do.
Okay. So, would you like to proffer me some questions?
I will proffer you questions, mainly because I had something crazy cool occur to me. Or I wouldn't necessarily say it's crazy cool, but I had a situation occur to me while I was doing ranked play that made me pause and go, is this possible? What is the effect of this? I was playing up against a a hunter. And the hunter basically killed me. That's all you really need to know. I went down in a blaze of glory. But before I did, the turn that I got killed, they played a Stealth Panther. Or at least the Stealth Panther was already on the board. And then they played a card. I can't remember which one because there's a couple that gave that Stealth Panther taunt.
Yeah.
And it was a stealthed taunt panther. And I just went, oh my gosh. Because my first thought when I saw that, and this goes back to me earning and losing gold stars, but my first thought was, oh hell, how am I supposed to attack them if they've got a taunt on a stealth target and I can't hit it because it's stealth? What am I supposed to do? Oh my gosh. That was my first thought. It was, oh my gosh. So my question for you is, if a minion has both taunt and stealth, what happens?
Right. So basically, stealth overrides the taunt because stealth basically removes it from play.
Okay.
In a very basic level, stealth says you can't target it, you can't attack it, blah 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 blah. So if you can't attack something with taunt, and taunt has to be attacked if possible. So it's the if possible bit that sort of gets you out of that bind. It's not possible to be attacked, therefore the taunt might as well not be there as long as it's stealth. So it still gets a little taunty shield, but as long as it's got the little misty clouds over it, you don't have to worry about it. And
Okay.
the game, if they have no other taunt characters, the game pretty much tells you by letting you attack whatever the hell you want at that given point. But the second that stealth is broken, it becomes a taunt dude. So you do have to attack it.
Right.
But until then, you just go, just attack to the face.
In the
That's the
face.
best way to do it.
Cause
To the
math.
face.
Cause math. Right. Coolman had a question, and he brought this up during multiple shows. He really wants to get this answered, and I don't blame him. So, Coolman, hearts to you, man, for these questions. So, if a card already has Death Rattle, because this comes back to what we were talking about last week with the poison seeds and Soul of the Forest and how they can kind of work together. And we were talking about Death Rattle decks and things like that. But if a card has Death Rattle already, does Soul of the Forest replace that, or does it add a passive on there?
Okay. It adds a second instance of Death Rattle. That's what it does. So
a card can have multiple Death Rattles?
yes. So let's go with the under the assumption that you're playing Druid and you played like a Sylvanas Windrunner, okay? Has Death Rattle when it dies, take control of an opponent's minion. Then you play Souls of the Forest, and then you play a second Souls of the Forest. That thing is really going to suck for your opponent when it dies, because it's going to take control of his minion, and it's going to spawn 2 sets of 2/2s, okay? So, if we take, for example, the situations we were talking about last week with Poison Seeds, say you have creature... Loot Hoarder. The
Right.
2/1 Death Rattle when it dies, draw a card. Alright? Use Souls of the Forest on all your creatures, so now it have Death Rattle, draw a card, and Death Rattle, summon a 2/2 Treant. And then when you do Poison Seeds, it dies. Alright, so the order it happens in is not much of a muchness. I just think about it because I'm a Magic player, and the stack.
That's
But
important
basically-
knowledge, by the way, for Magic the Gathering. But yeah.
Yeah, even though technically it really doesn't exist in the same way I remember it, because time. Anyway, so what happens is Poison Seed goes off, it dies,
Yep.
and you get the 2/2 creature from the Poison Seed. And then you get a 2/2 creature from the Death Rattle. And then you get to draw a card. As the most effective loot hoarder I've seen in a while. Just saying.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, you keep loading that loot hoarder up with as much stuff as you possibly can, because when it dies, it's going to be really good for you. And then you put down the 7, what is it? It's like a 7 mana, 1/7, dual Death Rattles twice, dude. You do that. But yes, more Death Rattles equal more good stuff, basically. And then it gets silenced, and then you cry like a baby in the corner. But we won't go there today.
Oh no, let's not cry to a baby. All right. And we've got one more question for you. I'm just going to say 2 words. and I'm going to let you
Okay.
take it. Faceless manipulator. And this comes from our discussion last week.
Yeah. Okay. I know this simply because Magic. Magic the Gathering has lots of cards to do this, so I already knew the answer to this question.
I know what to give you for like your birthday or for like a holiday or something like that. I need to send you a magic wand so that every time, cause magic, you can wave your little wand around.
Yeah.
There you go.
So someone tried. I'm an ex-Magic judge, and I already knew this, but someone basically posed me the question: what happens if a faceless manipulator that is faceless manipulating another creature in play? So basically, what happens if I have a whole bunch of faceless manipulators? Well, they all get to copy whatever the original faceless manipulator was copying. So, say there's a rag in play, and you faceless manipulate the rag, and then your opponent, and you manage to kill the original rag. Then your opponent plays a faceless manipulator, copying your faceless manipulator. Their faceless manipulator becomes a rag as well, because your faceless manipulator is technically no longer a faceless manipulator. It is Ragnaros. So as soon as he comes down, and copies a creature, it is, for all intents and purposes, that creature. The only time it's not a copy of the creature is when there is no creatures in play and you play him. He is then a 3/3 faceless manipulator. This is the only time faceless manipulator is ever actually a faceless manipulator.
Well, and there you go. And there you have it from a judge. Now,
I'm a judge.
Those were our questions. If you've got more questions, just leave them on the side. I'll pick them up, or a couple of other people who are watching will pick it up to make certain that we have the questions to answer. Or you can also send us information to our Twitters, which are below us. Or you can also send us an email at voice@MMOBuff.TV. The final thing that we're going to just quickly tackle on, because, yeah, we've taken up about a half hour of your time again.
Alrighty.
Because that's what we do, is we're going to bring to you our card of the week.
Oh yeah, because I keep mistakenly calling it card of the day. It's not. It's card of the week, isn't it?
It is card of the week.
Our card of the week is Malygos, because math.
Now, this is interesting to me because Malygos is actually a pretty. It's not as common as a lot of people might think it is in a mage deck, but it is still present in mage decks. It basically equates to smush face if you can get it to last and survive. That, I think, is a big thing.
Yes. No, he's our card of the week because I simply saw a YouTube video with like 7 Malygoses on the board, and then someone cast arcane missiles, and it would hit for like some crazy amount, like a couple of thousand, and it took like 2 hours for the game to render the entire thing and actually go through all the animations and stuff. That's why he's our card of the day, because that was hilarious.
How do you get that many Malygoses?
Faceless manipulator, I'm assuming.
Wow. Okay, so...
Yeah, it was somehow Malygos plus some other stuff. Basically went infinite arcane missiles. It was like faceless manipulator and like what's the mage secret that copies a creature when it comes into play? So
yes,
playing Malygos and yeah, all that good stuff.
Wow. So the spell damage affects all spell damage, not just your spell damage.
No, it's just their spell damage.
Okay. Just making certain and clarifying that, because those are the kinds of questions I ask you. Right, so on that note, what we are going to do is we're going to do this. So we'll be back next week to discuss the next card that's going to probably be released today, which is tomorrow, which is today, for when you see the time. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff. But yes, we'll be discussing that next week. I will let you guys know that this week our top draw starts up on Saturday. It's going to be interesting, so if you want to watch us actually talk about other TCGs, SCGs, and CCGs, come. be a part of crazy things on Saturday at 8. But until that, we'll be returning everything back to the Mizpah studio. Because math. But as always, our little segment is brought to you by the letter Pi, by midichlorians, and of course by Malagos. Cause math.
Math.
Toodle
Ciao.
pip.
And we're back. And for some reason, I seem to have transferred into a kobold. But there is a reason for the koboldness that we will get to in just a moment. We'll see if anyone can come up with the answer. So, Trolden and Parv, did you enjoy Top Draw? Ooh. And we have not the sound. Oh, yes, we do have the
Can you hear me?
sound.
Can you hear me?
All of the sound
Trolden,
waves.
can you talk? I can't hear Trolden.
I can't hear Trolden either.
Oh, excuse me. I forgot to turn on my mic. Yeah, I sure enjoyed it.
Kobold is annoyed with you for not having your mic on.
Kobold is mad. Take candle.
Mute microphone. So, guys, we are about to take a 1 minute pause, let people go do whatever they need to do, be it make a cup of coffee, chase a herring around the front room, or something of that nature. We'll see if anyone can guess why I am, of course, wearing a kobold hat. And it doesn't have anything to do with candles. I'm going to speak to the producer voice in the sky. Can we take a 60-second break? At
I'm
that
not
point,
sure the producer voice in the sky.
producer voice in the sky is obviously too high up. He can't hear us. So we're just going to have to carry on. Oh well, we'll survive. I'm going to give people a quick break this way round. Here we go. And with that, another brief burst of the Oregano Grinder theme tune. Thank you, Zazavat. We're back, and we're back with this.
More than you really did.
It's trio time again, and we'll see if anyone managed to come up with the answer to why is Mizpah wearing a kobold? Trolden, what's your guess?
I don't know, maybe Kobold is from Warcraft universe and it has something to do with World of Warcraft.
It's a good start. Do you want to elaborate on that, Parv?
I think you're having some sort of like identity crisis. You're not quite sure whether you're you, or if you're some sort of kobold in a mine. That's so weird when you do that. Don't do that. That's so. It looks like you're doing something horrible to yourself. Oh!
Clearly.
Excuse me?
Clearly.
The new rule is you have to answer the phone on the stream if it goes off. That should be a rule.
I'm
That
really
could so
sorry.
go
Excuse
wrong.
me, guys.
Panic
Don't
not.
worry, it's okay.
No, the reason we are wearing the kobold before we dive into Warlords of Draenor is this little beauty came from BlizzCon. And BlizzCon is, of course, flavour of the month because I believe the tickets, unless I've got my time zones wrong, because, well, time and math, as we just heard from Pseudo and Marshmellows, is hard. Is it 4 a.m. this morning from those of us in the EU? The first batch of tickets, I believe.
Yeah, it actually happened. And the tickets are already being sold on eBay for $1,000.
Yeah.
So that's to be expected.
So it's the second batch of tickets that are still to come then, which will be Thursday. Because I know there's two
probably.
batches, 24, 48 hours apart. So we'll see.
I'll probably try to get the second one because I really want to go to BlizzCon.
How much are they if you buy them from the site?
Well, if you buy them officially, there's two tickets available. The standard ticket is $199, but it's not the price point that's the issue. It's actually getting kobold claws on a set of tickets because obviously demand far outstrips supply. Yes, blank is Trolden. I should elaborate. Trolden has stepped once more into the breach because Blank had to go and look after the Viking princess. So Trolden of, well, all sorts of things, fame, has come to join us to talk about all things Blizzard. So thank you again, Trolden. So let's run through all the news, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper into a couple of things. I'm going to take the kobold off the head because it's pushing the earphones off the ears. So bear with me.
I'm
There
gonna
we go.
miss him.
I shall sit him there. That's just so not going to work. No,
What's it-
okay. Apparently
Timmy.
it is going to work. Yes,
His name's Timmy.
his name is now Timmy and forevermore.
Wait.
Alas,
Oh,
poor Timmy.
No, he's gone.
No.
Excellent. So let's talk about BlizzCon a little bit. I was lucky enough to be at BlizzCon last year, and I believe with a fair wind, I'm going to be at BlizzCon again this year, which is something I'm very much looking forward to after the past experience. Have you guys been to a BlizzCon?
No, just virtual ticket, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, I've only this was the first time I bought the virtual ticket for BlizzCon, and I really enjoyed it because of the Heroes of the Storm announcement and Warlords of Draenor one. It was really amazing, the crowd cheering and all that stuff. And I would really love to go this year, just because I've got my own YouTube channel now, and I would love to meet some people there, like developers and maybe some subscribers. And I think it's going to be amazing if I'm going to get a ticket, which I probably won't, because it's almost impossible.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I was very, very fortunate to be able to be there as press previously. Parv, how about yourself? Have you been out to the BlizzCon?
No, I've not been. I did watch the virtual ticket last year as well. Yeah, there was a lot of great stuff like Heroes and Hearthstone and everything. That was really cool. Year before they cancelled it, didn't they? The year before. It was
Year
the year that was
before.
cancelled recently.
Yes,
Yeah.
because this is now the 8th one, I think.
Yeah, and I assume it's because I guess the reason why they cancelled the previous one was because Pandaria was already out, and it was a bit like, okay, we don't really have that much to showcase, and then they saved everything for the next year. So
Yeah.
last year was really, really good. So now I'm wondering, what are they actually gonna show us? Because we've already had big releases within all the universes, pretty much. Oh, Go ahead.
Trolden.
They're gonna share with us the Legacy of the Void, the StarCraft 2 expansion, and they're gonna show us the Hearthstone expansion. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the Curse of Naxxramas this summer, and after that, we're probably gonna get the new expansion, which is gonna showcase Death Knights, as I speculated. Yeah, looking forward to it.
There's a kind of parity there because it follows, really the introduction of classes in the main IP and franchise. So that's going to be amusing. But one thing I just want to point out about BlizzCon is that I've seen the virtual ticket and gone, yay, that looks awesome. But I never actually really appreciated how genuine the atmosphere is until you're actually there. It's one thing to hear a load of people going, yay, cheer, and you always wonder, to what degree is there a guy with a card going, cheer now, up at the front? Not a bit of it. It's absolutely spontaneous. Comparing it to Gamescom or comparing it to PAX, it has its own very unique feel and flavour. They're very, very different events. But let's run through a little more news, and then we'll dig into a little bit more. What other bits have we got? So the Q1 Blizzard call took place. This is where all the people with shares get to dive in and go, so Blizzard, what have you done for us this year? Or Activision Blizzard, what have you done for us this year? The answer was quite a lot, as usual. Key numbers that I took away just from scan reading a few bits and pieces. I think we're now at 7.7 million subscribers. I think we're
7.6, if I recall correctly.
Thank you. I stand corrected. There could have been a quick 100,000 in the last 24 hours, maybe. could well be as a result of people falling in love with your Hearthstone channel and migrating. But also,
I can tell you the exact number, by the way. It has been September 2013. It's been 7,600,000, and then it's got 200,000 subscribers in December, and now they're back to the same number.
Okay. So, I find this amusing because you talk Parv in general MMO parlance to people that go, Game A, Game B, Game C, or Warcraft, that's dead. Game D, Game E.
I don't think Warcraft's dead at all. I actually think Warcraft is the only staple in the genre. I think pretty much every other release has been a farce because it takes 5 years to make the game and it gets maybe a month or two's play and everyone goes back to WoW. I think that's a testament to WoW, if anything.
It is.
I wouldn't say that I agree with your statement up to the point of WoW's dead. WoW is the only one that's alive. Yeah. The rest of them are like zombies. I'm certainly not representing the fact that I think WoW is dead. I'm just saying it's a common conversation that you hear. I have it with people all the time.
World of Warcraft is dying for 10 years already, almost. It's dying since its release,
Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere soon. And I'm sure there's a lot of games that would like to be as dead in terms of subscribers and activity as Warcraft. But the number that caught my eye, and I want to know what you think about this and what this means going forward, pre-orders for the new expansion, 1 million? That's a lot of pre-orders for this early on. This can't just be people all wanting their level 90 character boost, can it?
Yeah, of course. I have a friend who's bought the new expansion, but he's not playing World of Warcraft right now, so he hasn't used his 90 level boost yet. But I think that the I really expected a high subscriber drop right now in World of Warcraft because there's actually nothing to do there at the moment except for leveling alts, making new achievements and stuff. And I think the thing that actually influenced the World of Warcraft subscription is Hearthstone, because it has got a lot of people back in World of Warcraft just because of the sounds. Nostalgia is strong in this one.
It's certainly true. I remember when I first dug into Hearthstone and the first time I got to the dwarf voice in the tavern, and the first time I had Illidan talk to me. In fact, no, the one that really got me, and I'm going to need a name prompt here, Parv, you may know, the ridiculously bad gnome mage that you see in, I think, the third step of the tutorial. Is it Mana Sprocket or something?
Millhouse Manastorm.
Manastorm, that's it. The first time I suddenly heard Manastorm, and it reminded me of when I first ran into him in game, and I'm rolling on the floor laughing. And from that moment onwards, I'm hunting for the references, because for those that have played since vanilla, it's so rich in this stuff. It's yeah. I think that's a very true statement.
I think this is an indicator as well, though, of the market in general. People are becoming more and more accepting of pre-orders in games. If you look over the past 3-4 years, it's become so much more of a commonplace thing to pre-order a game. I mean, Diablo 3 was the most pre-ordered game of all time, I think, on PC. And that had about 1 million pre-orders, and this one's already essentially matched it and will almost definitely top it. Blizzard know how to convince people to do this with the free level 90s and stuff, and fair play.
Yeah,
it's definitely working.
Yeah, Blizzard knows how to create hype for the games.
We've seen it and everything. I mean, we're starting to see it in Heroes of the Storm. I don't think that's reached anything like it as Zenith yet. We certainly saw it in Hearthstone. We're getting the ramp up now for Draenor or Warlords, depending on what you like to call it in short form. And Draenor releases Mike Murrahane on the call before December the 20th. That's pretty specific. That's a little different to when it's ready.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna be November somewhere, because on this last Q1 earnings, they said that the expansion is gonna be released in the fourth quarter of the year, so it's probably far away from now.
Yeah, the other statement that went with it was the quote: "Release is likely to be the back end of the year." So, I mean, November works for lots of reasons, including Christmas shipping and hype and holidays and all that good stuff.
I think they'll release it on the 19th of December then, just to, you know. Yeah, we kind of gave you the date.
anything is possible. And hey, it would be accurate if they did. No one could really complain. Now, few things have happened.
I would have hated them. I would have hated them for doing this. It would just crush me.
Let's touch
you
on
your game.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's touch on the journey a little bit between now and then. Alpha internally started, I believe, if my source is right, April the 3rd, April the 4th. So we know that that's running in a very, very limited capacity at the moment. And there's a Blizz post for that. And we'll put all the links out on the YouTube for those who are following later. We know that we're going to go through the sequence, or we suspect we're going to go through the sequence of alpha, friends and family, closed beta, becoming more open, and will we see possibly not an open beta before we get to, well, it's on the test realm or whatever that might be. In your opinion, guys, if you were to, okay, you're being put on the spot, give us some speculation for what steps you think we'll see and what we'll see when, and then we can go back next year and replay it and see who got closest.
As far as I know, the alpha right now is something like friends and family testing. So I think we're probably going to get beta testing in 2 months. The Blizzard employee, I think it was the Watcher, said that even though the game is called the alpha right now, it's not representing the amount of content that's ready to being tested. So I think we will see the game in 6 months or so. And also one of the Blizzard devs said that the pre-expansion patch is going to be 2 months before the initial release. So that's something different from what they've done before, because the other pre-expansion patches were 2 weeks before. So they want to give us some content to play with, I think, because
there's a few interesting things. You're referring to patch 6 there?
Yeah, patch 6.0.
So before I dig into that, because that's where I was going next, Parv, let's have your speculation.
Do I just is this like a politics game? Do I just say the opposite of him, and then everyone has the illusion of choice?
Could well be. Or you could sit on the fence. I mean,
okay,
both work if you do politics.
I actually think that they're going to go into alpha, and then they're going to destroy the entire game and start again from scratch, and do that 3 or 4 times. So maybe in 2 or 3 years we'll be back to this point again, much like Diablo and the PvP thing. I think that's going to happen. Or I should have done the other one. I should have been the positive kind of politician. Damn.
It's coming out tomorrow.
In all seriousness, I actually don't really know very much about this. I assume though, if it's in Friends and Family Alpha at the moment, probably in a few months they'll probably open it up, and they'll open it up gradually. So if it's really December release, it has to be 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Now we're being asked which one is the Trolden? You see, you've just become a proper noun as well, there, Trolden. Trolden, please wave. You have the mystical green background behind you, for those who are wondering. And because Trolden so kindly stepped in at the last minute, we haven't been able to update all the overlays and things. So Trolden is currently doing an impersonation of Blankspace. So Viking Nation, say hello to your impersonator, I guess is the right way to phrase it for tonight. So let's talk about patch 6 before we then go on and look at some new information that emerged recently, more stuff on garrisons and other bits and pieces. Patch 6 does a few interesting things. Now I'm going to try and summarize a few of them off the top of my head. We're going to see the first instance of the new raid pattern with Siege of Orgrimmar. LFR is going to be gone, I believe, at that point.
No. The flex rating.
Flex rating. Thank you. That's just wishful thinking on my part. Flex rating is going to be gone.
Everyone wants LFR gun. Yeah.
I'm not biased at all, honest.
No.
The achievements, I think the things like Cutting Edge, the guaranteed mount drop and bits are of course all going to change when the patch comes out. I believe
challenge modes are gone.
I believe the rate to get the heirloom items off Garrosh is going to go up to 100% plus a chance of others. The speculation is that they want to give people this, the statement is they want to give people a last big hurrah in Siege, help people get prepped. Maybe with all the balance changes, people will find it a little easier. There's going to be some stat changes. It's going to be a bit of an odd transitional time. And as you said, it's going to be for a longer period of time. But I personally think that's because of casks. And we'll see if anyone's going to pick up and bite on that one. And no, I don't mean mead. That's also wishful thinking.
Yeah, but they're also going to add the pre-expansion patch, as far as I know. That's going to destroy the Blessed Lands.
Yep.
They destroy the Alliance fort there. I don't remember the name because I'm the Horde player. I don't care about Alliance. And we're going to have like a quest or scenario or something like that, where we go into the Dark Portal, which is already conquered by the Iron Horde of Garrosh, and we actually have to rescue some of the NPCs, and we meet each of the warlords in the pre-expansion patch. So we get to meet Gul'dan, all of those guys.
Are we going back to Outland then? Is that part of it? I don't know very much about the expansion at all, but the main first quest is going to be going back to Outland to rescue NPCs.
So
No, not to Outland, to Draenor.
Trolden, why don't you give people the 2-minute couple of paragraphs that explain what's going on with the story of the expansion?
So without too many spoilers, because I've read the topic on MMO Champion about the new book that's coming out. I think it came out today, actually. I pre-ordered it, by the way. So Garrosh escapes from the trial, and he goes back into the future, into the past, which is like an alternate reality. And he changes the Horde there not to drink the demon blood, so they're all pure, and he brings technology there. So the Iron Horde on Draenor is really strong, and he helps them conquer everything, conquer the Draenei on the planet and all of that stuff. And they actually build a new dark portal, which goes to our world. So our dark portal turns red, I think, and it leads to the Iron Horde Garrishes and all that stuff. So what we gonna do in the pre-expansion patch, which is 6.0, is we're gonna go there and try to stop them, because there are gonna be so many orcs coming out of the portal and destroying everything. And I think we're gonna succeed in that, but I'm not sure how we're gonna handle it, because we cannot go back to our reality. Are we gonna stay there lore-wise or not? I'm not sure about this, but we will see.
Yeah, there were some hints dropped at BlizzCon and quite a detailed lore panel that had people excited, and I'm sure there's going to be more of that in the BlizzCon coming up. So we said we gave a big wide overview the last couple of weeks. We said we'd pick a couple of things and dive in a bit more detail. And I know that we're dropping you in with a parachute from on high, Parv, to land in this topic with us today. Garrisons. They're one of the big changes. People have got pretty excited about them, but some more information is emerging, and there's a few mixed views on it. Now, we're going to have the links out there. Again, Trolden, why don't you take us through what the promise of garrisons looks to be and where we think they're going at the moment?
So, after the initial announcement on BlizzCon, Garrison, for those who don't know, Garrisons is like a player housing in World of Warcraft, which players have been asking since vanilla, I think.
Forever?
Yeah, so forever, yeah, always. So they told us that we're gonna have our own garrisons. We can choose a zone where we build it. I've been planning to build it in Nagrand because this is gonna be an amazing zone in Warlords of Draenor, and we can name our followers. We can send them on missions and all of that stuff. But some information has started popping out that, for example, we cannot move our garrisons. We're going to be heavily integrated into the questing. So we're going to have the Horde garrison in the Frostfire Reach, I think it's called, and the Alliance garrison in Shadowmoon Valley, which is really disappointing, and I hope we get to move our garrisons later on. Then, after that, they said that we cannot actually name our garrisons, and it's going to be called after our character, which is pretty disappointing too, because even though no one's actually gonna see the garrison, it takes away the customization. And the third thing, they said that we cannot name our followers, which I'm okay with, because, you know, when someone has a name, you cannot call him otherwise. It would be stupid, I think. So the problem currently with the garrisons is that they seem to take away some features from it, which is really disappointing, and I hope they change their mind about some things like the garrison placement, because I would love to build it somewhere, but not in the Frost location that I don't really like.
I guess it depends what they do with it. I mean, if it is tightly integrated into that level of experience, if you quest in and around the journey to 100 with your garrison, I guess it needs to be in a certain place at least till then. Pure guesswork, speculation on my part. It really depends on how they integrate it.
Yeah.
So there's a Horde garrison and there's also individual garrisons for players, right?
No, only
only the Horde garrison.
Only the Horde garrison and Alliance garrison. Before, you could build it in, you could choose a zone where you build it, but later on in the development, they decided to like make a garrison like a big part of your questing experience, which is gonna be built in the first starting areas of the game.
Was the initial idea then to sort of like, if you could build your own garrison or like choose the garrisons, you could sort of cut down on run time between quests and stuff like that, like if the NPCs that you hand in are there and things like that. Was that the idea then? Or is that
one of the ideas? I mean, the garrisons had very much the feel of, or to me, of the original RTS series. Actually, is why I love them. It was very much like, I've got my garrison, so it's I'm now on this screen where I can see my stuff, and I'm going to build new buildings, and those buildings will give me resources, and maybe I'll do some mining here, and maybe you're gaining, you're making choices and gaining benefits, buffs, and advantages for your character. Now, there was something about the fact that I'll put my stuff here, and this will be my little mini hub. And I'm guessing, pure speculation, that it's turned into a device they're now heavily using in questing, which is where, therefore, they need more control over where it is. Obviously, these are going to be instanced. I say obviously, again, I'm assuming, because I'm not expecting a Star Wars Galaxy Sprawl to suddenly turn up in WoW. That wouldn't fit the game to this point. Hence, they need some control. I don't see why later on, potentially, they couldn't let you say, and now wave a magic wand. Magic, and move it somewhere else.
Yeah,
But
and
again,
move it.
we'll have to wait and see. I like the concept of tying this new mechanic into your leveling process. That makes sense to me as a way of introducing it and showing people all the steps involved.
Yeah, you can like get the quests for like getting resources and stuff, which would actually be a story behind your garrisons, and that would be amazing. But I think they have to make it so that you can move it. If you want to like your war point, Dalaran was moved at one point, so you can move your garrisons. I think.
There was the question
would be-
how are you going to move your garrison? You know, if I'm a dwarf hunter, I might not be particularly equipped to teleport a garrison from place A to place B.
You know, you just pay some gold to the Dalaran mages, and they do it for you.
Oh, okay, because they're communicative with stuff like that. Yes, they don't keep any secrets.
Dalaran mages need gold too.
Well, absolutely, they've got to repair as well. So, I think what we're going to do here a little bit is bounce questions out to the channel. Now, this is where I need to talk from because of a delay, and we'll see if anyone's got anything they want to get answered. And tell you what, why don't we open this up to everything Blizzard? Because which I'm sure between the minds here, we could probably deal with most questions between us as we watch questions about calculus emerge into the channel or something. Now I've said that.
I'm actually going to put this out. That Trolden, I think he actually knows everything, so
I do.
He could answer everything. He's like an encyclopedia. He's like, oh, I know.
And I'll tell you what we're going to do is I have got here, and I may even go off camera to get them, a number of heroes lanyards. And if anyone can come up with a sensible question that between us we can't answer, and the information is in the public domain, that we can't answer, then for up to 5 of these, you're going to win yourself a hero's lanyard if we don't know the answer. Now, can I do? Are they behind me?
Can I do questions that I can't answer?
No.
Yeah, I want to get one too.
I may go get them on the post show so I can show people. We have some red ones, we have some blue ones. They've come from packs. And
So here's the question: Why is the development of Warlords of Draenor is so slow? They wanted to release it in summer, but it's so delayed, and it's gonna be out in winter. Why did that happen?
I can give
What do you think?
I can give you speculation actually from my perspective because, funnily enough, in past life I was kind of running teams of programmers and stuff. So actually, it's something I can talk about. If you're intelligent developing stuff, scope changes, scope creeps. You might have a plan for what you want to do, and then you do stuff. You evaluate, you test, and you make changes. If you don't make changes, you end up with something that's not fit for purpose. And lots of stuff happened. I mean, one thing I wanted to touch on was the big change that for geeky people they start to like, people like me, where they're getting rid of the MPQ files inside the installer and the builder. And instead of that, they're going for a proprietary file format they've made themselves called casks. And these let them do all sorts of fun things, which might be too techie. I don't know, I can get techie if people want. But it lets people do all sorts of things with the file structure. It's, from what I can make out, a self-indexing, self-sustaining system. It allows things like directly patching a client with a live hotfix, like a server. It means that repairs on your client will no longer be needed in a true sense because it's kind of self-healing. It should be a lot faster. All sorts of things like that. So there's a lot of good things. And when you throw in some big new tech, you're going to make adjustments. I don't know how long they planned for casks. I know they're in the Heroes Alpha. But if you're smart, you'll make smart choices. You'll keep making those choices. And, yeah, you adjust. And at the end of the day, what's more important? Getting it out at a certain point in time or getting it right? And
there goes the first lanyard for the Mancrick's wife question.
Isn't Mancrick's life? Isn't that? Well, we're gonna get the really tricky lore questions now. I could feel it coming up.
Lillian isn't that? I know that for sure.
And I think there's actually Mankirk's wife is one of the ones that Mancrick's wife is one of the ones that everyone debates and nobody knows. I don't know if the answer is actually factually available, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you that one for coming up with it first, Mojito Maker. So,
should we say no more lore questions then? Because people can come up with all kinds of crazy lore questions, and it's up to you. They're your prizes. But...
Yeah, well, let's have a mixture. I'll pick out some stuff as well. If it's all lore, it's a little boring. Let's have them on different games as well. I've screenshotted
Can I answer that question?
The Mojito Maker's question, or
the Cool Man's question.
I'll just say first, Mojito Maker. You have on Twitch, please, to send us a message on the messaging system from you to MMOBuff with your details, and we'll respond accordingly. And I've got screenshots of anyone we say has won, so none of these silly accounts where people swap ones and zeros and full stops and stuffs, because, hey, that's just not cool.
Actually, I've answered Mojito Maker's question. Lillian Voss is actually alive. I mean, she's an undead, but she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if you're undead, are you technically alive or not?
I think you are. By the soul. In World of Warcraft, you have a soul, I think.
Yeah, that's a little like the question we were debating post-show, Parv, where we were talking about time zones. And someone made the statement that time was invented in, and I said, well, is it actually possible to invent time? It's kind of there already. All we've done is stick a label on it. I mean, can you invent time?
Exactly. Can you define Lillian Voss? Like, you can get out of all these questions really easily. I reckon you don't have to give away any of these things. You can just,
but we will, because we're
turn
nice.
the question around.
And by the way, to answer the Coleman's question, the character that I'm really excited about is Rathian. I'm not sure if we're gonna see him in Worlds of Draenor, but I really loved him because he isn't like a typical good guy, but he isn't a bad guy too. So that makes him interesting, and I really hope that Blizzard doesn't make him a new raid boss, because that would have been a wasted opportunity, in my opinion.
In story terms, they're grey, and that's always a lot of fun. Parv?
What abilities would he have if he was a raid boss? What would he do?
If he was a raid boss, he would probably have some mind control abilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. That guy is a tricky bastard.
And it would be what you see is definitely not what you get all the way through the fight, I would think.
Yeah. And he's son of Deathwing after all, so we might see some stuff happening.
So, like, it's kind of like, you know, in Metal Gear Solid, the first game, you had to swap the controllers over to beat Psycho Mantis. You had to plug it into the controller too, so he couldn't read your mind. It's like that, except he mind controls you, and then when the fight's over, you've been playing Elder Scrolls Online for 2 hours and you didn't even realize. That's the twist in it.
I've not realized that you're playing.
Imagine you've only got one controller and you're playing. I suppose you can unplug and plug in. Yeah, okay.
No. You just moved the plug over. It was a really clever idea.
I love the idea.
That blew
actually,
my mind when I was a kid.
But who on earth found it out the first time, or were the clues in game for it?
That was so strange. They did things as well, like you have to look on the back of the box to find this radio frequency to get through the next level. So everyone who pirated the game didn't have the box, and this was like way back in time when like it was difficult to Google stuff. It was difficult to get hold of that, man. Yeah,
it's more like playing Monkey Island, and because to load your game, please go to page 16, type in the third character from the fifth word, and then of course you can never find the manual, even if you bought the game. But that's another story. What other questions do we have? We're talking about IR215. We're talking about everything Blizzard at the moment on Blizzard Forecast. The most recent section has of course been Warlords of Draenor, but we can tackle questions on Heroes, Hearthstone, StarCraft a little bit, Diablo a bit. Take a pick.
Who do you guys think the most OP character in Heroes of the Storm is right now?
I would have to at the moment say Nova.
No, I don't think Nova is OP.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be Raynor.
Raynor's really, really good.
I like
the fact
Raynor.
that he heals up. He basically counters any burst hero.
Yeah, he does.
And certainly the ultimate is so good at just controlling so much space at once. That's it's almost as useful for forcing people to move as it is for the damage that it does.
I'm actually going to say Arthas.
Haven't played
I
Arthas.
think Kerrigan too. Arthas isn't that OP too. He's got a buff in the recent patch.
He has a lot of lockdown, and he can do
Yeah.
everything. That's like,
Yeah,
I
but
dunno.
his lockdown is required to like it's a skill shot, so you might miss it. As Kerrigan's, for example, the grab thing, it's
Yeah.
really hard not to miss it. And even though she's squishy, kind of, her passive makes her one of the tankiest heroes in the game.
I must admit, I've had a couple of goes with Kerrigan. I don't really do melee yet. I had a couple of goes with Kerrigan and just sort of dived in, died, rinsed, repeat, went back to ranged. But that was in my very first few games of playing a MOBA, so I've got to give her another go at some point.
By the way, the Coolman's question, has Blizzard tried to make an excuse
Yes.
why all the characters from different universes are now together fighting for something that I don't even understand? When you play tutorial, Uther says to Raynor, you shouldn't think too much about it.
Yeah, too much. It's actually really funny when it happens. The brief version is there is something called the Nexus. The gods have selected heroes to go and fight for glory, honor, and cheese, or whatever it is they're fighting for. And you've been pulled together into the Nexus to decide who wins, really. So it's a very basic story. It's not a rich Blizzard vein of lore, but it's not supposed to be. It's fun after all.
A lot of series do this sort of thing. Nintendo tackled stuff with Super Smash Bros. And how can all these heroes, from different universes be involved? And even if you look at, say, The Legend of Zelda's like timeline as well, they openly admit, that there has to be multiverses for this to work. So if you just treat it as another multiverse, a possible world where this happens, it's not canon. Well, it is canon, but it's not canon in the same universe. It's
If you
that's
take
the
that
way to disjoint
statement,
your mind.
anything can be canon because there's an infinite number of multiverses.
Yes.
By the way,
Go, Joss.
the multiverse thing is happening in World of Warcraft right now.
Oh, really? How so? Like
the Garrus thing, it's not he going into the past, it's going to another universe where he stops orcs from drinking the demon blood and they come back to us. The Draenor is never destroyed and turned into Outland. We still have our Outland, so it's a multiverse and an example.
Yeah,
And it gets really confusing, like in the comic books. When you just start thinking about it, your brains are melting.
Yeah. Lots of comic books have done it in the past as well, but it is quite cool because then you can have him come out with something and then back into our world line essentially.
yeah.
So
There
you
was,
have the main storyline world. And
this was talked about a bit at the previous BlizzCon, and there was a lot of conversation about it. And I remember having a very long conversation in a bar about this particular topic after one of the presentations. And at the time, I could remember it quite well. Not so much now, but if you track it all through, what they're doing with the Blizzard timeline does actually all make sense. You can kind of see the insertion points and where you come back again and why and how. We should probably do an MMOBuff article on that at some point and just relay it all out, because I haven't seen it talked about anywhere for quite a while. Mojito Maker asks a very fun question. Well, more about looking for our opinion. And I'm not the best person to answer this one, but I think this may go back to you, Trolden. Not so much a question, but do you have any opinion other what or who is underneath Tercel Glades? Any theories? What's yours?
I've read a thing about this on MMO Champion. There's always a discussion about something on MMO Champion, and I have no idea what's there. Seriously, that might be something expansion related, future expansion. They might come back to it in Warlords of Draenor, even. We don't know. We have no idea. It's Blizzard. They might do another troll raid in Warlords of Draenor. So, no idea, seriously.
lots and lots of dead people, all buried underground.
And another question, do you think the Burning Legion will appear in Warlords of Draenor, even though corruption was stopped? I think that Kil'jaeden, or whatever his name is, or Sargeras, or I don't know the exact names, they planned something with Gul'dan to corrupt the orcs and put them under demons' control. So they will be pretty pissed off because Garrosh stopped them. There's something's gonna happen about this.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Legion's gonna show itself.
and even if we don't see them in traditional form, because the timelines have changed, we're gonna see the names and the instigators and the people involved with it. I would think they're almost too big a rich vein of lore not to tap into. It could just be that they turn up rather annoyed, going, "Oi, you're not doing what we want." But I'm sure they won't do it quite like that. But it'd be surprised not to see them. I do wonder when and if we're going to, other than Cthulhu, properly run into an old god. The problem is, how do they balance it? Because the old god goes, "I don't like you, die." Done. It's a little.
They can think you out of existence, can't they?
Yeah.
They don't even have to do anything.
I love old gods in World of Warcraft, by the way. They can't actually die, so we might see Yogg-Saron and the others in the future. And I really enjoyed the old god theme in Mists of Pandaria, and I really hope that there's going to be a Y'Shaarj, or whatever the old god's name is. Like it would be a boss, but it didn't happen. Still was cool.
I swear I killed Yogg-Saron in Ulduar.
Yeah, but he didn't actually die. If you kill old gods, the Azeroth's gonna die probably.
They're kind of deeply interwoven to the fabric of stuff.
Yeah, like the Titans are related to the old gods and all of that stuff. Don't want to go too deep into it.
Yeah, as Mahito, okay, technically you could kill one, but you probably not worth it.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Favorite WoW heroes? I go dwarves and hunters, so that's me happy. I could of course say me, because I've been playing Mizpah, the protagonist, for so many years. You kind of get attached to your own character, and that's part of the sociology and psychology of a game. But I'm sure that's not what the question actually is aiming at. Parv, favorite WoW character?
I don't feel too strongly. I think I quite like Sylvanas Windrunner, but mainly because I like her Dota 2 character. Is that wrong? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's really wrong.
Oh well, there we go. The corrupt version who became Drow Ranger. No. It's not Sylvanas. My knowledge of WoW lore is not too good. So, but yeah, she's pretty cool.
Trolden? Same question.
Right now, probably Rathian, as I said.
Yeah.
I also love Wal'Jin because he's so sneaky and powerful and dangerous at the same time. I really like him. Wal'Jin's cool.
I probably still like Rexxar. One of my favorite characters.
By the way, we'll see some Rexxar in the Warlords of Draenor. That's confirmed.
Yep.
Oh wait, Nesting Hemingway. He was fucking cool.
Nesting Hemingway.
He was
yeah.
He was cool.
Son of.
Like, I'll happily have a beer with him. Yeah, we'll do that. That's my answer.
I could just imagine a conversation now where you're going, "I killed 25 snow leopards. I killed 2,500 snow leopards, and they were all as big as a house." And as the night goes on and the beer gets drunk, these snow leopards will be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and there'll be more snow leopards killed in the conversation than there actually would have been population of snow leopards that have ever been in existence.
Perhaps I may just say to him, "Can you define a snow leopard?" And I go, "Ha, you're beaten. That's it. Game over." Son.
Another question from the chat about Illidan Stormrage. Is he gonna come back and all of that stuff? Blizzard, I think, at one of the BlizzCons, Chris Metzen was asked if people want to see Illidan come back, and the crowd was cheering, and he was like, "Okay, guys, you'll see him."
Have to find
And
a way of
also, what's your guys' progression? I'm currently full normal, but I stopped playing after I got the heroic. I didn't really like it. I don't enjoy heroic progression. I'm casual guy.
Yeah, and I'm not playing current expansion, but I will be. Well, I'm dabbling around. I'm not raiding. I may well be doing more in what's coming up. I've spent most of my time raiding in WoW, back in 40-man raids. Those are the things that I still personally miss. Horseman is still my favourite fight of all time. But there we go.
Mr. Pandaria was amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
It's really bad that you've missed it. I think it was much better than Cataclysm, and maybe it was on the same level as Wrath of the Lich King.
Okay, I mean, the second thing that I liked most in the game has been the hard modes like Mimiron. Those have just been spectacular. That actually is probably my second favourite fight that's ever been in the game, was Mimi hard mode.
Do you raid Trolden?
Yeah, but normal only. So no hardcore stuff, because I don't really like it and I don't have enough time for it. But I've killed Garrosh in this expansion, so I've
It's
killed
always
him.
nice to actually get through and see the content.
I've killed him many months ago, and I'm happy with my skill level. I'm playing Monk, by the way. Monk is an amazing class. So fun to play.
I have played the same one character from vanilla through to now. I have just recently started one alt, which is a druid, just to get the experience of all the different sort of abilities. But yeah, I play one character, I play it forevermore. I have, let's just say all I'm going to say is when I go /played, I get a response back that's greater than 1 year. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. So this is probably gonna be it for today, right?
It is. We're done. I think we're wrapping up. So
Yeah.
a few things then quickly. Let me just tell you briefly what's going on. This has been the 3rd episode of Blizzard Forecast. I think this is probably the last beta episode, and we're going to go into proper episodes for next week. So yes, need to make sure we just do a little bit more polishing, but I think we're getting there. The format's going to be pretty much what you guys have seen. We're going to run to this sort of length. We're going to cover everything in the Blizzard family. So whatever it is you like in that universe, you're going to find some content there for you. We'll keep getting the Heroes content with myself and with Parv. We're going to have real Blankspace back to do more Draenor content, and Trolden, whenever you would like to come and talk all things Blizzard with us, you're very welcome.
Sure.
I'm
Thank you
quite
very much.
sure there are people that are going to want to pick your brains on Hearthstone. I know that you've got Pseudo very excited, and I'm sure Marsh, when he rises from his Antipodean slumber, will be equally pleased to know that you've set foot. But you can find us here every single Wednesday, 8 o'clock BST, and you can find MMOBuff on Twitch. You're probably watching it there now, or on Twitter, or on YouTube, or anywhere you like, really, as /MMOBuff. We're quite easy to find. Before I sign off, Trolden, perhaps give people a few links to yourself, what you do, your channel?
My channel is Hearthstone related, so should I just
Absolutely.
just voice it, or just send the link to the chat?
Voice it, and we'll put it into the show notes and bits and pieces on YouTube.
Okay, it's Trolden1337. I make Hearthstone content and Heroes of the Storm from time to time, because there isn't enough videos right now for Heroes of the Storm, but I still try to do something I really enjoyed, and I've been making Hearthstone videos for a few months already, and I've got 75,000 subscribers, and I'm really happy about my YouTube progress. And I'm really glad to see you guys who've been watching this show. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great seeing you guys here, by the way, too.
Awesome. And we're just starting to dip our toes into those waters. But you're right, there's not enough Heroes content out there. So I will be extending you that invite to see if you want to come and join a pre-made with us and see if we can stomp or get stomped. But that brings me nicely onto Parv. Parv, do you want to just quickly let people know a quick bit about yourself again before we sign off?
Hi, I'm Parv. I make YouTube videos of all kinds of games. I work on the Yozcast network, so you may have seen me on some of their videos as well. I sometimes stream as well. You can find me YouTube or Twitch /Parv Plays. Let's have a fun time. Also, as well, it's been a pleasure as well. Absolute pleasure to meet you, Trolden, by the way.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Indeed. And on that note, I get to sign off and say goodbye to all you lovely people. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, your efforts, your attentions. Hopefully you have enjoyed the show. If you do indeed like the content or you've got any comments or feedback, you can reach us also via email, voice@MMOBuff.TV, which of course is the main website. So with that, it is time for us to disappear. If you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, tell us. I'm sure I've heard that somewhere before. But no, we do like feedback. Have fun. It's been good. Goodbye, good night, au revoir, and the word herring for no reason whatsoever. Thank you for being here. This is Mizpah.
Good night.
Signing off.
Bye.
Good night, guys.
Night, night.
The voices in your
Sorry,
head
Grandma.
are still talking. But now, we're going to disappear once more into the breach, dear friends, or something like that. Catch you next week, 8 o'clock, Wednesday, BST.